This is the premises of the Lagos Task Force, saddled with the enforcement of environmental and traffic laws. The mobile court is in session to determine the cases of persons who have been arrested for driving against traffic. At these proceedings, Channels Television witnessed the arraignment of 8 persons, 7 of whom pleaded not guilty. The court fixed their trial for December 7th, when the men of the task force are expected to present evidence against them. Of particular concern, however, is the one man who pleaded guilty. After reviewing his case, the magistrate pronounces that he is free to go, but his car will be forfeited to the state government. The man is unhappy and reluctant to speak on camera, but an officer of the task force says this is the law.
Section 7B of the road traffic law says when you drive, being a first offender, it attracts a 1 year imprisonment and forfeiture.
And that's our focus today. We're looking at safety on our roads, even as we approach the Yuletide. And to discuss that, the Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Commission, Mr. Boboye, joins us on Sunrise Daily. Thank you so much indeed for coming.
Thank you. Good morning.
You know, while that report was played, the first thing that comes to mind is that those people who were apprehended were not wearing their shirts. They were not putting on their shirts, and a lot of people were concerned, especially
which shirts?
The shirts for those people who were arrested for wrong driving. They were not wearing their shirts, and people were concerned, especially human rights activists. But let's leave that for another day. What your focus is, the last time we had this discussion was that you had some measures in place to check people who were caught in the act of driving wrongly. And you said that you're going to have some psychiatric tests.
Psychology.
Okay.
Emotional psychology.
My apologies. Emotional psychology tests on them. How has that progressed to this time?
I think I'm satisfied with the progress so far. Last week I was discussing that over 6,000 people were arrested. 2,500 were taken to government facility and 30 were positive for cannabis, heroin, and other sorts of hard drugs, and they've commenced rehabilitation. We've confiscated their licenses, and until they finish their rehab, they cannot get their licenses back. And I think it's a success story. So we are doing it, we're on course about that. And if somebody doesn't wear a shirt and goes to court, that's not my business. Human rights wants to talk. You see, fundamental human rights has its own upper limit and lower limit. I know my own limitations. If a driver is wearing vest, am I the one that says you should not wear shirt? You should be taken to wherever the way you are. The only thing is I will not take a naked person to the court. So that is the place. We should be careful about all these fundamental human rights and all these things. We are wearing a T-shirt and we are taken to court. That's not my business.
But what should concern you even more now is that while you are carrying out those tests, some other human rights organizations still feel that perhaps your measures are too harsh.
Too harsh? In developed, you see, developed countries, laws are made to serve as deterrents. Okay, if you don't want to go, why stop using phone while driving? Stop facing traffic. Stop jumping the traffic lights. Stop overloading and stop driving dangerously. Case closed. If you don't want to be arrested and be taken to a government facility to be subjected to emotional psychological tests, why don't you comply with traffic regulations? It's as simple as that.
What's the figures now? Are you recording more people carrying out this breaking these traffic rules? Or
we're about 6,000 now.
Is it reducing?
It's not yet reducing because I've just deployed 10 bikes like in Abuja and 5 patrol cars, and I'm commissioning another set of 7 vehicles again. And the same thing in the command. You know, the commands will not operate again in the urban areas. We are on the highway. So if I add all those figures, we'll be nearing about 10,000. And we refer them to government facility. You see, again, you should have asked me that. You arrested 6,000. 2,500 were taken to government facility. What happened? What we face now is that once they're arrested, before anything they rush to the bank to pay. It is after you pay.
In all the cases?
All the cases. Then they will plead. Some will plead, and they are pleading. Some are genuine. Some are not genuine. And I have the waves to waive that right. and to pardon. Sometimes when they've paid, I pardon based on some cases I've examined.
You mean you refund the money to them?
I cannot refund money, not to go to Offence emotional psychologist cases.
No, because I'm looking at the possibility of having this well streamlined, and everybody understands that this is serious business, and the FRSC is determined to prosecute anyone found guilty. But even important, as important as the previous the line of discussion is, how well have you positioned yourself? Because now is the Christmas period, and you expect to perhaps hit even more than 10,000 that you're looking at.
First, you started with the mobile courts. Mobile court is to serve as deterrence. What are the other measures? I think we've planned better this year than any other years. And I think we are ready, and the government has funded us to be able to do our work this year more than before. So I don't have an excuse for not performing this year. That's why I've want my commanding officers to do their work, and everybody has given me their commitment. You see, our vehicles will be deployed, personnel will be deployed, the recovery vehicles, the ambulances, nationwide, because we have seen a pattern of recent. Most of the crashes on Lagos-Ibadan is just a truck hitting the concrete divider and co, no life lost. We're having more crashes on between Sokoto, Tambua, Sokoto, Talata, Mafara, Potiskum, Meduguri. Those are where you have low traffic density. That is where we're having more. You don't record more except Binia Saba, that you record 1 or 2 crashes. And most of these crashes involves private vehicles. Private vehicle owners are not used to highway driving. They're more used to school runs from the house to the school, drop the wife, come to the office, go to church, pick the children and back. But highway driving is different from urban. And what I've done this in the last 2 years, I've offered to provide our personnel, our drivers, to assist families that wants to travel. And the husband does not have that skill. You know, driving is a skill. Urban driving is different from highway.
Let me get that straight, so that your men are able to help them drive to their destination.
But it's for a fee. It's not free. Plus insurance. Yes, it's done all over. I have drivers, trained drivers that can do that. That's why when there are high-level programs, we release drivers to foreign affairs and to the presidency when there are international programs to drive government vehicles, to drive patrol cars for them. They are well trained. So I've offered to release some drivers for a fee for X number of days. You want to stay in your village or for your vacation, I give you drivers, but you pay. You pay to a FRSC account, and I pay the man his allowances, and it has insurance cover. That's the best way. It's one of the ways to mitigate crashes. Give support to those who want to travel but unable or does not have that real skill to drive. You see, you must continue to look for ways to reduce crashes during the Yuletide period, and generally, let me say, during the festive periods. Apart from that, even during some social programs, somebody wants to travel and he himself knows that he can drive within the city, but driving from here to Akure or to Abuja, he doesn't have the skill. Because you see, urban, when you move 2 minutes, traffic light, the gridlock, you'll be crawling. But highway, the traffic is moving. Suddenly, fatigue sets in after 45 minutes, 1 hour, because it's not something you are used to. Okay, when you come to Abuja, do you drive by road? You fly. Can you drive by road from Lagos to Abuja? Tell me.
No, that's a personal question. That's a personal question. I surely can drive that far, but
the following day you'll be sleeping.
Yes, I know the experience of the hazards that I face, but I've survived it at some point. But
you'll be sleeping the following day.
Let's get back. Yes, that's true. But let's get back to the issue of the psychological tests.
There's so much concern about this thing.
Yes, because who is funding it?
It's funding itself. Look. We agreed the last time I came here, we're about to start, we said it. The 6 critical cases. If you don't want to be arrested for this, don't do it. And when you're arrested, when there's an infraction, you pay your fines and you go to government facility. You pay to government, not to FRSC. And nothing is free even in Freetown. If there's an infraction and you are referred to government facility, they ask you to go and pay. You pay. Not to FRSC, you pay to government coffers there.